On this show, we tend to concern ourselves with the little things, which of course means we usually completely neglect the big things. We should probably neglect the little things, too.
Hello, and welcome to Seincast, a retrospective on all 180 episodes of Seinfeld, being hosted by two guys who can barely run their own lives. My name is Vinnie.
My name's Matt.
Hi, buddy.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm better now. We're back. Back into the swing of things.
Back in the saddle again. Okay.
3 weeks, I think, since we've, at least released a podcast. We've recorded a few. They haven't gone well.
Yeah, this is take 3 for us. Strike 3.
Yeah, man, it's been a wild month, really. We haven't recorded since last week when I tried to fit in a late record of the Gymnast, and I was listening back to the audio, and it was all messed up. No way to fix it. It's just one of those things. And I held off telling you because that was the second time we had recorded, and you didn't find out that we were recording. I'm going to spoil it. The Gymnast until like 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, this was news to me because I was prepped. I did the soup last week. I already watched it and took my notes. I watched the Mom and Pop Store this morning.
Oh man, look at you!
Because I didn't know what was going on. So I am ready. I am ready if you are ready. But so I guess this is our third go round. Matt, merry-go-round.
It's funny. Third time we're doing it. I doubt it will go any smoother than it did before.
Still one big show.
I wanted to catch our listeners up on our lives since we last recorded. I think we did the the couch back on the 5th. We got to hang out a couple of weeks ago. That was great, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
You had fun, right?
I did, yeah. Yeah, you and Liz came down to visit. It was lovely. Saw my place for the second time. Yeah. This time it had furniture in it.
Mm-hmm. Looks great. You have all your Seinfeld merch, your posters everywhere. It looks great.
And there's still a lot more to go.
But more importantly, I got to meet your girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, my beau.
Yeah, it was great. We all got to hang out. It was like the Gatsby's,
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know what that means. But yeah, you met her. I think everybody got along. I can't tell, but it seemed good.
It was okay.
Yeah.
No, it was great.
Yeah.
And then we got to exchange some gifts. The coolest gift of all, though, were these Frank Costanza Festivus sweaters that you bought last December. And we got to put these on. Yours fit perfectly. Mine was a little tight.
No, they're a little snug.
I got to lose some weight. But
I couldn't not get it. I mean, how often do you have the opportunity to get Jerry Stiller and wear them on your chest? So it had to be bought.
A few listeners have reached out to us asking where we can... or where they could buy the sweaters. Do you have the link you could send me?
Yeah, let me...
Not now, just whenever. I'll include it in our show notes. Just, I was Googling it, and I remember when you ordered them, the order, disappeared. Like, the website disappeared, and you're like,
yeah.
I think I'm getting them because I paid for them. And I thought that the guy who was selling them got shut down because he didn't have the right to...
That's what we thought, because they took them off the website. And because they had Chevy Chase from Christmas Vacation, they had Trading Places, they had all sorts of Christmas-themed ugly sweaters, those weird polyester. But they had the Seinfeld one, and I bought it as soon as I saw it. And I believe one of our listeners posted it on our Facebook pages, which is what turned me onto it. Since then, I haven't been able to find that online anywhere.
Well, send me the link if you ever get it. I'll check Facebook. Maybe we can find the link and include it in our show notes. Regardless, I'll post the photo of us in our show notes as well in case people didn't see it on Facebook and Twitter and whatnot. But yeah, since then, my wife had some health issues when we got back. She had an emergency appendectomy, which went well, and she's doing great. But I gotta say, seriously, everyone out there who emailed or wrote on Facebook or on Twitter or whatnot, wishing Liz well and hope it's a speedy recovery. I was blown away, and I shared them all with Liz, and she was just blown away.
Yeah, a lot of support.
It was incredible, and just a sincere thank you to all of our listeners who wrote in and just just shared their well wishes. Like that just really moved us because again, it's not a life or death situation, but just people you don't even know personally. You just kind of connect somehow through a podcast each week. We're just taking time out of their day to say such nice things. It was just incredible. So thanks to everyone who took the time to do that. That was really sweet. Got some wonderful listeners out there. Yeah, thank you to everyone for your constant support. Vinny, speaking of listeners, I figured, should we just transition right now into our Newman's Mailbag segment?
Open it up.
Too many emails and messages to go through here, but we got a lot over the past couple of weeks. But we heard from a lot of listeners, Vinny, who did not pick up on that pizza abortion joke from the couch until we mentioned it, which really blew my mind because I of all people, I'm a little slow.
You got it. There's even been a moment named after you, and you got it.
Yeah, some of our listeners have come up with this term called a Matt moment. Which is when you don't understand a joke, or
that 99.999% of the population would understand.
Yeah, so this is the new thing, having a Matt moment when you don't get a very obvious joke. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was really cool to hear from people saying like, I never got that until I heard it brought up on your show. So it makes me wonder, are there other Seinfeld jokes that are as clever or as like layered as that abortion pizza joke?
Right, weaved into the storyline so that only the acute observer would pick up on it, or it doesn't quite hit you like a bag of bricks. Mm-hmm. That's cool though that we were able to kind of shed some light on that. So I like that. That's what we're here for.
That's I think one thing we've accomplished over the past 2 years, which is great. Well, let's move back a week to the Chinese woman. This sort of connects with our discussion about abortion during the couch. Remember at the end, Vinny, when Kramer leans out the window and shouts, Noreen's late, she's late. And I was pretty irritated that was sort of a drop storyline. There wasn't any follow-up to, well, if Noreen's pregnant, why don't we hear about it? Just a throwaway line. And a lot of our listeners, many, wrote in to say that just because Kramer says Noreen's late doesn't mean she's actually pregnant. Maybe it was just a false alarm. Which is totally, I guess, believable. It happens even in the fix-up. Remember with Cynthia?
Because she missed her period.
Missed her period?
That's actually a really good point, because I didn't think of that either. In the most basic of circumstances, she just was late to get her period. We're assuming, she had the baby, she took off, she's in New Mexico now, or she did have an abortion. But yeah, perhaps she just was late. Maybe she was so stressed out from Elaine, having her ruin all these previous relationships for her,
Right. For me, though, while, it's really not that big of a deal in the big scheme of things, when we're analyzing these episodes beat for beat, it just rubs me the wrong way that we don't get some resolution, because at least in the fix-up with Cynthia, you think she's pregnant, and then they at least say at the end, no, false alarm, I'm not. Whereas with this, it's just open-ended, and I just want some answer, regardless of what it is. And I think that the discussion and that running theme of abortion in the couch is sort of the, I don't know.
Your mind can't help but go there as what would have resolved that issue, right?
Right. It's like a thematic continuation, of that storyline, I feel. But
and we tend to pride the show and kind of give out praise to the writers for continuity, callback jokes, all these things that make Seinfeld the show that it is. But we feel like it's a missed opportunity, and one might say lazy that they didn't even reference it in a upcoming episode.
But I think it's more on that episode to resolve it.
Okay.
Even in the epilogue, I don't put it so much on the couch as I do on the Chinese woman. Mm-hmm. For some reason.
That's a good point.
Just because it's if in the end she's not pregnant, doesn't have the baby, or runs off with the baby, I at least want that kind of addressed within the context of that episode. If we're never going to talk about it in a future episode, just put it all there.
What they could have done was an epilogue scene of Kramer in the office with that doctor, the guy who was measuring his sperm. And he could have been telling her, well, it turns out she's not pregnant. The Kramer name's going to die or something like that.
Yeah.
You can cut that out.
But yeah, let's move on from the Noreen pregnancy storyline here and move into some other topics from last week's episode, The Couch. Jim K. from Phoenix, Arizona wrote in, interesting theory here. Vinny, you and I believed that Jerry was being vindictive in The Couch. This is when she was pitting Elaine against her convictions, I guess, I
remember.
What is his stance on abortion? It seems like he was being vindictive for no reason, whereas Jim here thinks that it's for selfish reasons, which is more in line with later Jerry. First up, he has the idea that Jerry doesn't believe Poppy changed his ways in regards to cleanliness. This is going back to the pie when he didn't wash his hands in the bathroom. And in order to get out of eating at the restaurant with Elaine, Jerry decided to take advantage of her stance on abortion. So this is Jim's email here. When Elaine presents a possible opportunity to have her be the reason they leave the restaurant because of Pequeno's support of abortion, Jerry jumps at it and forces the issue of abortion on Poppy to see if Elaine will then refuse to eat there and they can leave.
Diabolical. That's a pretty good observation, Jim. I could see that.
It doesn't seem as obvious as just Jerry being kind of this, mischievous jerk, which
prick.
Yeah, we've been tracking from really the chaperone through every episode. But I love that. I think that totally works. And as Jim points out, does keep in line with that future Jerry who is doing it purely for selfish reasons. He's not doing it just to be a prick.
Yep, he does. There's one prick involved. There is a prick.
There is a prick.
Yeah, we're both in agreement that there is one prick. But Jerry does point out in the episode, didn't he get busted by the Board of Health? So you can tell that is still looming on his mind.
Right, and going back to that apartment scene, talking about the duck, why is Jerry even going to Poppy's restaurant if he doesn't want to eat there? Because there could be a cleanliness issue.
True.
But either way.
He has a point.
Jim continues to say, well, why does Jerry then force the issue of abortion on Elaine's boyfriend, Carl? And he has a theory on that, too. I don't think it's as strong as the Poppy one, but he says that Jerry forgot to give the mover a drink. He's embarrassed by this. He asks Elaine to apologize. She says she will, but she forgets. Jerry wants to avoid this guy in the future, so he sabotages her relationship to do so.
That I actually really like that theory because it's very much in the neuroses of a Seinfeld character. However, or having said that, I think that's like a dead on George thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ruin this relationship so I don't have to feel uncomfortable in a future encounter with him. So I like that Jim brought that up.
Well, there you go. Thanks a lot, Jim, for writing in on your Jerry theories there. We've got another email here from Frank Linen from Long Island. He writes in, rather short. He said, I found it funny that the writers changed the name of the pizza place from Bingo's to Pequeno's. Not sure if this tests, but Pequeno is another type of bingo.
Oh, you know what? I do remember as a kid eating out in restaurants, they'd when they had the bar section, there'd be the TVs and you could fill out those those booths where you shoot the water into the clown's mouth. Sorry.
Clown's mouth? That's right.
No, but they'd have Pequeno. I do remember that being a popular bar game.
This just kind of a Matt moment, because I thought Bingo's was such a random alternate name. If people recall in the blooper, Jerry says Bingo's and
bingo.
and Elaine or Julia just can't get through the scene. But yeah, it makes total sense, Frank. Thanks for pointing that out. We've also got an email from Tim Wilkins and Nicholas Gallegos on the subject of Joe Temple. Do you remember Joe Temple, Vinny?
Yes.
Well, originally Joe Temple's name was Joe Sample, and we thought that was sort of silly, like Joe Sample.
Frankly, it sounds kind of made up.
It's got to be Joe Temple. Well, it turns out, Matt moment here. Joe Sample was a famous jazz pianist with the band The Crusaders for 20 years, so that seems like a pretty logical reason why they changed it to Temple.
Huh. I had no idea as well. Hey, you can't take all the Matt moments. I want some too. Okay. So just because it's named after you doesn't mean you're the only one who gets to use it.
I think you're just better at not admitting when you didn't get something. You're just like, oh yeah, I always knew that.
That's clever editing, my friend.
Nicholas also adds that the actor who played Joe, Robert Hooks, was also in a blaxploitation movie from the 70s called Trouble Man. And the main reason I'm bringing this up is I think we're still in the Captain America Civil War era, right?
I hope so, because I haven't seen it yet.
Oh boy, you better get out there.
No spoilers.
Well, you find out if Iron Man wears underwear under that suit.
Ooh.
Okay. The reason I bring that up is because in Captain America Winter Soldier, yes, the movie Trouble Man, specifically the music from Trouble Man, gets brought up at the beginning and the end of that movie. So I thought that was just a nice little, I don't know, kind of connection to pop culture this week.
Ah, yes, the little notebook that the Falcon recommends to Steve Rogers. These are things you missed in your, frozen years, right?
Right, yeah, he suggests it, and Steve writes it in the little notebook he has. But yeah, Robert Hooks was presumably Trouble Man. One last thing to talk about here, which I'm very excited for our listeners to check out. We'll include a link in our show notes. One of our listeners, Martin Bowe, sends us in a really cool illustration each week. Just sort of like his take on something we hear about in an episode, but we don't necessarily see. And this week, he has this incredible drawing. It's probably my favorite one he's done yet, of a trash can, lid open, and there's a little doily and an eclair hovering above it with these little angel wings.
So it's hovering like an angel?
I think you got it. It's just a great drawing. I love these. We'll include a link in our show notes, and I really hope Martin keeps at this. And we can maybe, I don't know, put together like an album of all of his illustrations. They're just fantastic.
It really looks like something that you'd see in the New Yorker. It's very reminiscent of the I Wish I Was Taller comic.
Absolutely.
Job well done.
Well, Vinny, we have one plugola of the week, and I wanted to bring up another podcast. It's not a Seinfeld podcast. It's actually something different, but it kind of ties into one of the guest stars in this week's episode. The podcast I wanted to talk about is called The Twilight Pone. A silly name, but an absolutely hilarious, insightful podcast hosted by two guys, John and Fred. They are old college buddies like you and me, Vinny.
Hey.
They have a great rapport. They basically go through every episode of The Twilight Zone, similar to what we do here. Not as much minutia, but 10 times the laughs, I'll tell you that. They only have, I think, about 6 or 7 episodes left out of the 156.
Oh, good for them.
Yes. Well, I'm really sad that they're going away because this is my favorite podcast to listen to. Everyone's got their favorite. I'm sure Seincast is a favorite for many of our listeners, but this is my personal favorite. It's very much an indie podcast. But yeah, I just highly recommend it. If anyone out there is a Twilight Zone fan that wants to hear two guys talk about it. And like I said, very funny, very insightful. And how can we tie this back into Seinfeld? One of the guest stars this week, the actress who plays Mrs. Enright, Lois Nettleton, was in one of my favorite Twilight Zone episodes called The Midnight Sun, which fantastic episode. Love it. Very good. Great premise. Idea is that the Earth is moving closer and closer to the sun each day. And it's basically about those final moments as people are trying to survive and trying to...
Flaming globes of Sigmund.
Yes, everything turning to It's a great episode. But yeah, wanted to give a shout out to the Twilight Pone because they're wrapping up and they're just it's just a fantastic podcast.
Are you listening to the Twilight Pone? This is a good one.
All right, enough of that. Vinny, if listeners want to send us their thoughts on this week's episode, have a Seinfeld page, website they want plugged, or just want to say hello, how can they do that?
Several ways, buddy. They can send us an email at seincast@gmail.com. They can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, or Instagram.
Very nice. Well, Vinny, what episode are we talking about this week?
We are discussing the 6th episode of Season 6, The Gymnast, written by Alec Berg and Jeff Schaffer. It was directed by Andy Ackerman, and it originally aired November 3rd, 1994.
Alec Berg, Jeff Schaffer. This is another one of those like classic writing teams on the show.
Yeah, Berg and Schaffer. Alec Berg.
Great John Houseman name. Yeah, I'm so happy we're getting to these guys. I don't think you and I really knew who they were prior to like the DVDs coming out.
No, did not.
But there are some fantastic interviews and commentaries on the DVD set that everyone should check out. These guys are just pure Seinfeld fans, and I'm sure their heads just exploded when they got the job.
And as I think we kind of mentioned in previous episodes of Season 6, we're seeing that kind of passing of the torch. The new generation of writers are coming through the door, and Alec Berg and Jeff Schaffer are some of the guys leading the charge here.
Absolutely. We don't need to talk about all of them, but we could maybe list off the episodes that Alec and Jeff are credited with. First up, we have the Gymnast, of course. Then we have the Label Maker, the Doodle, the Secret Code, the Seven, the Calzone, the Foundation, the Chicken Roaster, the Summer of George, the Butter Shave, the Voice, the Strike, and the Puerto Rican Day. They also have a story credit for The Maid. But
solid list.
Yeah, man. I mean, just some real strong episodes from seasons 6, 7, 8, and 9. You know, Vinny, outside of Seinfeld, what do you think Jeff Schaffer is probably best known for?
Oh, I think it begins and ends with The League.
The League, right.
Yeah, he co-created that with his wife.
Yeah, you know,
it just wrapped, right?
Wrapped, I think, was it this past fall, I think? Regardless, 7 seasons. I mean, they had a great run on FX.
Oh, it's huge.
But yeah, great show. And even one of the creators of Seinfeld has a role to play on the show.
Oh, I remember you spoiled that for some of our listeners when the episode aired.
Yes, I did. A lot of listeners said, hey, it would have been nice to watch the episode and see his cameo as opposed to you ruining it. But Jeff is known for other movies and TV shows. He wrote 4 Curb Your Enthusiasm episodes. Hello. He directed Euro Trip, which I know, Vinny, you're a big fan of the Trip franchise, right?
Not all of them. Some of them, you jerk.
Road Trip.
Road Trip's good and Euro Trip is good.
Is there another Trip, or is just
there's Boat Trip, although that's completely different.
It's not affiliated.
I don't think it's in the same Trip umbrella.
Phase 1 of the Trip universe.
No.
He also co-wrote Cat in the Hat, which I thought was an interesting credit.
That is interesting, yeah. As well as Shark Tale and The Dictator.
Yeah, with Alec Berg. And speaking of Alec Berg, you know, he doesn't really have a show that he created like The League. But he is a major player with Silicon Valley on HBO.
Solid.
He is an executive producer. He's directed 7 episodes. He's, in fact, I think, directing the last 2 episodes of this current season.
Nice.
He also wrote Clear History with Larry David.
That's a nice movie. It was on HBO, but I enjoyed that movie. It was fun. John Hamm's in it.
Oh yeah, I haven't gotten to it yet. Maybe we could do a little. We've talked about it before. I think do like a little like Seinfeld
catch-all.
Yeah, well, like Dunstan checks in, trial and error.
Oh boy,
troll. But Alec Berg also directed 6 episodes of Curb Your Enthusiasm. So I guess what we're trying to say is, you know, these aren't just some, you know, random writers. These are people who I think really understood Seinfeld.
They're players. They are in the game.
And continue to work with Larry David and just that Seinfeld-esque humor, you know, up until this day, really.
And that probably is one of the biggest testaments to how great they are as writers and how funny they are. The fact that they're still working with Larry David to this day. That really says a lot.
Mm-hmm. You know, especially being able to take what they learned at Seinfeld and sort of, you know, go off on their own career paths. It's really just incredible. Well, Vinny, we have some little bits of trivia here we want to maybe talk about, address before we get into the episode proper. What's first up?
First things first, the namesake of the show, the Gymnast, Katya, her name originally was Anka.
Katya? Anka. Anka? Katya. I think I like Katya more.
I'm with you 100%. I like Katya much better.
I think it's a fantastic idea.
I can't imagine Misha going, Anka. Doesn't flow.
It's got the on it. But
there's too much going on.
That's about it. One of our listeners, Raul Kazan, wrote in. He caught us up on the history of Ceausescu.
Ceausescu. What?
And he also brought up most English speakers are not able to get it right, so we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. He
really thinks he's better than us, doesn't he?
He wrote in to let us know that the name Katya doesn't sound much like a traditional Romanian-sounding name, so they didn't even get that one right, apparently.
Katya, when I think of Katya, I think of Eastern European, but I can't pinpoint what country it would be.
Right. Exactly.
So maybe that's probably why the writers were like, just make it Katya.
And typical, just like American mindset, it's somewhere over there. You know what I mean?
Don't read too much into it. Next up on our trivia for the Gymnast, the eclair was actually an apple tart in early drafts of the script.
Eclair, apple tart, eclair.
I don't like apple tart at all.
Yeah, me either.
I like it as a pastry, but I don't like it as a choice for George's downfall in this episode.
Oh, I've got nothing against the apple tart. I think it's a fine dessert, but when it comes to George biting into it, and I don't think this was planned, but it, you know how like the cream just kind of like spills out?
Oh, I'm aware how the cream oozes out of the eclair.
mean, that's just comic gold right there. Come on.
And you can't put a. Can you put an apple tart on a doily?
Oh yeah, it's got a little
Okay.
oily doily going on.
Lends itself to the doily. In addition, Mullen Springs, an alternate name used for the water company merger was Porgan Springs. Porgan.
Moland? Porgan. Gotta say, I like the Moland. I mean, I think they're making the right decisions with all of these.
Yeah, 3 for 3.
These choices here. But Porgan is a good one. It does sound a little dirty, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, and then there's Mr. Morgan, and people get confused. They were right to stick with Mullen.
Porg and his wife.
Also, the 3D art that we see in the show, it was actually a picture of the Statue of Liberty. And during filming, Ian Abercrombie, Mr. Pitt, who we all know and love, he was trying so hard to see this image, and he couldn't for the longest time. And while they were shooting on show night, he finally saw the picture of the Statue of Liberty, and he got so excited, and he yelled out, "I see it! It's a Statue of Liberty!" And Larry David had to
No, I'm leaving that in.
Okay, go ahead, laugh it up.
Oh, God. He said David.
He can't speak.
What an
Larry David said, "Ian, we're filming." So that's that.
Well, in the show, the 3D art is it's a rocket ship, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And it is so cool.
Right. Sweet man, Ian Abercrombie. I wish we could have met him. Well, Vinny, one last thing before we get into this week's episode. This episode, The Gymnast, was part of a crossover event on NBC when it originally aired, November 3rd, 1994. When I say it was part of a crossover event, it wasn't necessarily participating in that crossover event.
3 out of 4 ain't bad, man.
Right. Well, just to tell our listeners what happened in case you weren't watching it live, at the time in the early 90s, the NBC execs were trying to come up with ways to get more attention for their, solid Thursday night lineup. And since all the shows took place in New York City, they came up with a crossover stunt called Blackout Thursday, and that stretched across all 4 shows. You got Mad About You, Friends, Seinfeld, and The Madman of the People. That last one I don't remember. Do you?
Doesn't ring a bell, no.
It does star Dabby Coleman, who everyone knows him from 9 to 5, Boardwalk Empire, and the star of Sack Lunch.
Oh, okay. Now you're speaking my language.
Okay. Anyways, there's the whole premise is there's this blackout in New York caused by Helen Hunt's character on Mad About You trying to steal cable on her roof. So they experience a blackout, and then the next show, Friends, I think I don't know the show that well, but
that I
Chandler's-
remember.
He's in an ATM vestibule or
With
something.
Joe Goodacre, and Rachel meets Paolo, who lost his cat.
Oh, I read up on
There's
this. So
candles, it's romantic.
they're trying to catch a cat the whole episode, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so they ripped that off from the busboy. Got it. Okay, and then and then after Friends, you get to Seinfeld, and you're like, okay, what's the blackout storyline going to be in this episode?
I don't...
And there's no blackout. Everything's fine. George is eating an eclair out of the garbage. And then you move over to Mad Men of the People, where Dabby Coleman, I think, gets arrested. He gets busted for looting. So
During a blackout.
right. So it's just perfect, right? Like, this is pure Seinfeld, where it's like, we don't need to be involved with this dumb crossover event.
This fluff.
Right.
It seems like something Larry David would have been very much opposed to, and he totally went against the network's wishes. Although, thinking about this idea, I kind of like this. I didn't realize how your Thursday night primetime lineup has all 4 shows taking place in New York.
Right.
It's the place to be. But it would have been kind of cool if Seinfeld participated in it. I don't know. You could go either way. It's kind of cool that they did their own thing. They're going against the grain. But at the same time, they've done crossovers in the past. We saw Kramer appear in Murphy Brown. We saw Paul Reiser appear in a what was that, a clip or a promotional shot with Kramer in the hallway? Remember?
That was an actual episode of Mad About You.
Mad About You?
Where the Paul Reiser character in the Mad About You universe, he used to live in 5A across from Kramer, and he goes back, and so Michael Richards guest stars on Mad About You.
Yeah.
So which was kind of a weird sort of thing that happened when you think about it. It's like, whoa, we know Larry and Jerry did not like crossover events. In fact, I think they even threatened that if they have to do one, they're going to kill Ross on Seinfeld.
Now that I like. I think that's a good idea.
But it's funny that the Mad About You thing happened. I wonder what deal was made or what agreement that was all about. But
maybe it's Paul Reiser being a fellow comedian, doing that scene in the 80s in New York. I don't know.
And it's funny. I don't know what my deal is with Friends. And some of our listeners have written in being like, Matt, give it a shot. It's a great show. In fact, Vinny, shocking, we watched a few episodes when we visited this past week.
Yes, you did.
Which was a lot of fun because 3 out of the 4 people in the apartment loved it. So it kind of like helped me come out of my
Hey, it mirrors the Blackout.
Yeah. I am the Seinfeld in that group. But I have to say there's something about Mad About You that I like a lot more than Friends for some reason. Like,
really?
It's like I'm okay with Kramer being on Mad About You, but for some reason being on Friends doesn't feel right.
You have some sort of block towards Friends that I don't know how we can get you to overcome that. Not that you have to, but Friends is a nice little show.
Well, the fact that I watched, I think, 4 or 5 episodes with you guys, like I'm making progress. And I think by the time we're done talking about, all 180 episodes of Seinfeld, I think I'm going to feel a little bit different about the show.
Because I think I know me personally, and then friends and people that I've talked to since then, when Seinfeld ended, Friends was kind of the show that people gravitated to as their fix, Like it took place of Seinfeld.
Right. Hey, how about after Seinfeld, we do a podcast all about Friends?
Mother of God.
I've never been able to figure out why they make these bizarre toilet seats that they have. Like those clear lucite ones with all the coins in it. It's a lovely tribute to our past president, by the way. It's not bad enough Lincoln got shot in the head. We got to pull down our pants and sit on it, too. It's just incomprehensible that you would buy a thing like this, you install it on your toilet seat, and this says what about you? Well, I can't afford to just throw money down the toilet, but look how close I am.
The toilet seat, the lucite toilet seat. Matt, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, Vinny, like I said, the first time we recorded and the second time we recorded, I have never heard of nor seen a lucite toilet seat with pennies in it or rocks or fish or whatever. This just blew my mind. I had to Google this after listening to the stand-up, and I'm like, wow, that's a horrible idea to do that to a toilet. But
once again, though, as a child going to friends' houses, I do remember these gimmicky toilet seats, because there'd be nautically themed bathrooms, and I remember there being fish or coins in them. Interesting.
Yeah, very much so. Feels like a relic of the 90s. Very similar to the 3D art, where it just sort of disappeared. We're like, what happened to those? Well, right on. Interesting stand-up, I thought. Didn't really apply much to this week's episode. It would have been nicer, actually, to have a stand-up, I think, about 3D art, maybe, or
tightrope walking.
Or the circus, something to connect with this week's episode. And
one of my favorite... I'm just going to have to pay homage to Mitch Hedberg. One of my favorite jokes of his is he says, that'd be funny if you're friends with a tightrope walker and you're walking down the street and he fell. That would be completely unacceptable. That Jerry could have done that joke and then paid homage to Mitch Hedberg.
To be fair, though, the topic of toilet seats does tie in with George this week, taking his shirt off when he goes to the bathroom. So
it's a stretch, but
there's something
I'll
there.
take it.
Well, first scene of the episode, we are in Jerry's apartment. Turns out Lindsay is still seeing George after busting him for watching Breakfast at Tiffany's instead of reading it.
I think she finds my stupidity charming.
As we all do. Hey, we should talk about Lindsay, I think, right here at the top, because we got to see the character at the end of The Couch during the epilogue. She was in Monks with the book club, and her big line is, George, Fred's gay. And at the time, we kind of made the joke, she's credited as Marie.
Right.
Whereas in this episode, she's known as Lindsay.
Now we're like, could this be a double dipper? Is she a twin? What's going on?
2 different characters. Yes.
I'm contending her name is Lindsay Marie, and she likes to go by Marie or Lindsay. That's how I like to keep it.
I don't think they refer to the character's name in The Couch. It's only in the credit
That's correct.
So, if we had a little bit of evidence in the dialogue, we could, confirm this. But yeah, for time's sake, Lindsay Marie, we'll refer to her as Lindsay. Turns out she's having a family lunch, and George is going to swing by later to say hi and meet the mother. Jerry comments how good he is with the mothers, and Vinny, this has to be one of the best all-time George quotes.
I'm better with the mothers than I am with the daughters.
Maybe you should date the mothers.
If I could talk to the mothers and have sex with the daughters, then I'd really have something going.
Oh, you've got something going.
Yeah.
One of the best.
It's a despicable statement, but makes perfect sense coming out of George Costanza's mouth.
And the confidence. He's like, if I could do this and this, yeah.
You'd be okay with that.
Yeah. Good
I don't see
almighty.
Larry David as being good with the mothers and having sex with the daughters. That doesn't work for me.
No, yeah, I don't.
He doesn't seem like he'd be really schmoozing with moms. I feel like he would have no tolerance for that in his dating life.
I don't know. Like I'm thinking about Curb right now. Is he good with like older women? Not
No.
dating, but like just conversing with.
Remember when he was talking to Mary Steenburgen's wife?
It's exactly
our mom.
The Paul Simon concert.
Yeah,
That's
and
exactly what I was thinking
She
of.
drank out of his water glass, and he's like, ugh!
Yes. Oh my God! Well, maybe you got something going there, Vinny. So Kramer enters, and he's going down to Mr. Pitt's to pick up some 3D art Elaine had framed for him. Isn't it weird how in this moment Jerry's interested? He's like, "Hey, bring that thing by. Like, I want to look at it."
Well, again, how many times do we compare Jerry to being a little kid? It's 3D art. I want to see it. It's cool.
Right.
So I feel like it's his enthusiasm, his curiosity that he wants to see this thing.
This might have been at like the height of 3D art, where it was just all the rage. It's like, oh my God, computers make it. This is incredible.
Big computers.
Yes. At the time, then or now, were you a fan of 3D art?
I thought it was cool, but I had trouble seeing it. It was rare that I got to see the image.
Right.
So, no. I tried Kramer's advice of looking through the painting, and that didn't work for me either.
Nothing. Yeah, maybe we should try to track down some 3D art, give it a shot.
Sure.
Have a little 3D art party.
What about, how's this for being meta? 3D art of Seinfeld. Are there any computer guys out there or gals who could make this happen?
Like just of their faces, or
I don't care.
what about entire episodes?
Now we're talking. Okay. Something we forgot to touch on earlier during the clip we heard of George saying, "Then I'd have really something going." Jerry responds with, "Oh, you got something going." During the commentary, there's a commentary track on this episode with Jerry, Alec Berg, Jeff Schaffer, and Andy Ackerman, and they talk about that type of exchange. They refer to it as a hostile compliment, and they say they actually perfected that as an art. The one character saying something, the other one kind of throwing it back in their face with a little bit of toot on it. And I thought that was a perfect way to describe that, the hostile compliment.
Yeah, I'm surprised that never became a term used on Seinfeld.
She hostile complimented me.
Right.
I can't believe she did that.
But it's awesome to hear it come from, the writers and the creators. Like this is a term they used, at least, behind the scenes.
Yep. And going forward, since I've had to watch all these other episodes, thinking we were going to record them today, I found another one in the future. So stay tuned for that.
All right. That'll come out in 3 months. Well, let's move into a clip we have here, Vinny.
Hey, guess what? Remember that woman you saw me with the other day? She used to be an Olympic gymnast.
A gymnast?
Yeah, she's Romanian. She won a silver at the '84 Olympics.
A gymnast, Jerry. Think of the flexibility. That sex will melt your face.
Yeah, well, I think I'm bailing.
Bailey.
Yeah, Kramer, there's always a price to pay for just a sexual dalliance.
Jerry, you should pay that price.
She's Romanian. Oh, what am I going to talk to her about? Ceausescu?
What?
The inability to comprehend the name Ceausescu.
What?
Chachu, what? Is that, I wonder, was that a Michael choice, or was that part of the script? Like, when he says the name, act like you can't even, fathom what you just heard. I wonder.
I think the joke works totally on Jerry's end, What am I going to talk to her about? Ceausescu? Like, that works enough, I think. And it's just all on Michael, who I feel like that's a Michael thing, not anything in the script.
To be so slow and kind of like he's thrown by it. That's what I take away from that clip is that reaction.
Well, yet again, and this might have more to do with my age, but I didn't hear of Ceausescu before this episode. It helped.
Nor did I.
Yeah, it helped with all these things. So it helped with a lot. So maybe, I don't know, maybe we can all relate to Kramer in some way, right?
There's a little Kramer in all of us.
Oh boy.
3 pints.
George comes out of the bathroom while buttoning up his shirt, which is a bit odd. Turns out he takes his shirt off when he goes to the bathroom because it frees him up, no encumbrances. You ever hear of this?
No,
Shirt
never.
removal? I've heard of pants removal.
I've done the pants removal because sometimes the pants are constrictive, but never
You
quite
love
heard of
it. Wait, is that it? No.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. But after a while,
They become
part
a part of
you.
you. Damn it.
But no, I never heard of somebody taking off their shirt to go to the office.
Oh, man.
You tried it?
Never. I think I'd feel a little too exposed in that moment. I mean, for
Yeah.
someone whose pants are down, you're exposed enough, but when you're sitting, it's all sort of together, but having that shirt off, I feel almost naked.
Imagine if the fire alarm goes off, you got to run outside. You got to pick which article of clothing to put on to run outside.
And speaking of running, out of the bathroom, going back to the boyfriend, say Vandalay. He had his shirt on then. So
Good point. So maybe he adopted that later.
Yeah. Maybe we'll try to figure this one out between episodes.
Let's go noodle with this.
Yeah. Well, before leaving, Kramer gets a little attack in his lower abdomen, and he dismisses Jerry's advice to see a doctor. Like, no doctors. Yow! There it is. And as Kramer leaves with this, abdominal pain, Jerry sits down with George. And what sets up this line here?
You always take the shirt off? Always.
Right. And Jerry has the great line, I'll tell you, knowing you is like going out into the jungle. I never know what I'm going to find next, and I'm real scared. And then they just kind of stare at each other for a couple of seconds.
George is quite the anomaly, isn't he?
He really is. Really is, man. I do not know what's going on up there, especially with the shirt thing. It makes no sense to me. Let's move over to Mr. Pitts. Mr. Pitt has a meeting coming up with the Poland Creek bottled water people. He's on the board of trustees for Morgan Springs, and they're trying to acquire Poland Creek. And before, he walks away from telling Elaine this, he scolds her for using a fountain pen because they smear. Is that right? Or is it smear?
Is that ink?
Yes. No ink is allowed in the office, so Elaine just...
Under no circumstances.
Yes. She just almost throws the pen in her bag and uses a pencil instead.
Which tracks, correct? Recall the Rolomec 1000.
I know the Rolomec.
Oh, you creepy bastard. Hey, this is only the 3rd out of 7 appearances for Mr. Pitt, but doesn't he already feel kind of ensconced in the Seinfeld universe?
Absolutely, man. Like, he is just one of these guys who just feels like he's always been there. You know what I mean? Just, God, such a memorable character. Well, Kramer arrives to pick up his framed poster, and I love how much noise he makes when he's like, there's this stack of wrapped frames, and he's
brown paper.
Right. And he's unwrapping it, getting it all over the place.
That's not good. There she blows. Oh, these are nice corners, huh?
Elaine, did I... But this is very odd.
Yeah, it's 3D art. Computers generate them. Big computers.
Yes, I've heard about these. How do they work?
Well, you blur your eyes like you're staring straight through the picture. And you keep your eyes unfocused. And then... Oh.
Yeah! I don't see it.
Yeah, it's a spaceship surrounded by planets, asteroids.
I still don't see it.
Okay, Kramer, that's enough. Mr. Pitt has got work to do.
You ever dream in 3D? It's like the boogeyman is coming right at you.
A spaceship. Where?
Right in here. Just keep your eyes unfocused.
Oh, Mama.
Kramer, what's wrong?
Mama. I think I gotta go to the doctor. Oh, Mama. How long does it usually take?
There's one of those fads of the 90s, 3D art. Big computers generate them. Big computers. Remember, it was even referenced in Mallrats, the Kevin Smith movie. Ethan Suplee's character It's a schooner.
Right. That came out, I think, the following year, 95. So, yeah, it's
there we go.
That time.
Love it.
And 3D art craze.
What I take away from this clip is, again, Michael, man, again, I got to go to the doctor. Oh, mama.
Don't you hear him outside, too?
I love that. That always sticks with me.
Mama. Oh, man. A little behind-the-scenes trivia here, which they talk about, I think, in the commentary. Larry David apparently was upset with this storyline, or at least kicking it off when they were in the edit bay. He didn't pick up on it while they were filming. Why is it Kramer's 3D art? Why didn't they just make it Elaine's 3D art poster? Like, what was the point of bringing Kramer in for this scene? I don't need you to come up with the answer. I saw you. I see you thinking there. Yeah,
I'm pondering.
I don't think we'll come up with a clear answer, but just something you don't realize while you're filming the episode. It just hits you later when you're trying to cut it down to time.
Does Elaine even introduce Kramer to Mr. Pitt? Do they even they converse with each other about the 3D art? But there's no introduction, right?
His introduction, and it's great, like Ian Abercrombie delivery. Oh, this is very odd.
Yeah,
and I always think he's talking about Kramer, but I think Kramer thinks he's talking about the art, right?
I assumed he was talking about the art.
Right. So I think it's just the fact that this goofy, gangly man is in his home.
But all right, I mean, I don't question it. Like, why? I don't know. I just took it as is.
Right. And I think as viewers, we don't really notice these things. But when you're producing the show and, there for every step of the way, you're like, yeah, why did we do that? But anyways, cool little behind the scenes. I wish we could get more of that. Like this unedited Larry commentary for every single episode and like everything he loves, he doesn't love.
I find the things he hates more fascinating than the things he actually likes about the show,
Yes, absolutely.
So I love anything negativity related to Larry David. I want pass it my way.
Oh boy. Well, next scene, we're at Lindsay's apartment. George is really hitting it off with Lindsay, her mom, and her mom's friends. Or I'm sorry, maybe it's aunts and
it's
whatever.
Her Nana.
Nana, my bad. He really looks out of place in this rather elegant apartment, with these older ladies. It just feels wrong.
I'm sure that's the last place he'd want to be, but right now he's trying to put in his time.
Right.
So he can have sex with the daughter.
Yes. But he's feeding them some bullshit, how the most important thing is spending time with family. He and his family are very close, right?
Very close, yes. Almost painfully close.
So Lindsay's going to walk her aunt and Nana to the elevator. And did you catch how George says goodbye to Nana?
Oh, I caught it. Nana!
Ah, fantastic. Mrs. Enright. What's that?
He's killing it with the relatives.
Yeah. Mrs. Enright, this is key. You've pointed this out in our last recording, which I didn't really think about much. But Mrs. Enright offers George some food, but he politely declines and instead insists on helping collect the dirty dishes.
So right there, this whole situation could have been avoided. He could have been looking around Lindsay's bedroom for his glasses right now if he had just said, yes, I would like an eclair or I would like a cookie. But no, he's going to try and be polite to win over Mrs. Enright and family by helping clean the dishes.
I can relate to this in some way because I know when I meet people for the first time or I'm trying to impress them, I don't want to ask or take anything they offer for some reason.
I feel the exact same way, and I think a lot of people would also share that same sentiment.
Right.
I remember one time I was dating. This is a different girl, not the girl I'm currently dating, who I'm quite fond of. Don't go there. I was dating this girl, and there was a barbecue at her brother's house, and they had ribs, and the ribs were fantastic.
Dynamite.
And I went back multiple times for ribs because I was like, "What's this like declining stuff? Like I want to enjoy the ribs, damn it." And I honestly feel like I was judged for going back too many times for the ribs. So before then and since then, I'm like, no, I'm good. Even though I would like
for seconds or just like altogether.
Altogether. But hey, there's a moment in Seinfeld that kind of parallels this. Remember when, what is the episode? But there's Morty Seinfeld and Jack Klompus.
Oh, Sponge Cake?
And Jack Klompus says, Of course I wanted sponge cake. I love sponge cake.
Very similar, yeah. It's
Anyway.
somehow polite, or you're imposing even though someone's offering. It's that neuroses that kicks up.
But it's a societal thing we do, which makes no sense.
Right.
Oh, the person is offering it to you, and you say no, and that's the anticipated interaction, right?
Absolutely. Well, George does make a mistake. You think it's meaningless, but he heads to the kitchen, and he's going to, scrape the food off the dirty plates into the trash. And when he opens up the trash can, it's already hitting you. Let's get specific. What does he see in the trash can?
In the receptacle, initially, he sees an eclair.
Right.
Underneath that,
with a little bite taken out of it.
oh, one tiny little bite.
One little bite.
Underneath that eclair, a doily.
Right.
That doily is on top of a magazine.
A very clean magazine, like perfectly flat, no rips, smudges.
No tears,
Nothing.
dog ears. Beneath that magazine, the rest is garbage.
You don't see any of it. Like, you don't know what's under there, but it's
Right.
it's a very clean, sterile presentation.
And it's propped up to the top portion of the garbage can.
Right. And there's that great moment, George looks at it, and he doesn't grab it. He kind of nudges it with his finger.
It's a nudge with his ring finger, as if to say, "Hey, fella, how you doing? I'm gonna take a bite out of you."
Whoa, it's okay.
It's okay.
Whoa. Yeah, it's like he's testing out the consistency of this eclair. And we know what happens here. He reaches in, grabs the eclair, takes a huge bite out of it, and this is just as Mrs. Enright walks in.
And her first look of horror, we see.
Very brief, but we all know what this clip looks like. Can you put this on your top 5, top 10 George moments of the series?
Hands down, absolutely.
Yeah. This to me goes toe to toe with I was in the pool.
The fire, him knocking the kids out of the way.
Another great moment.
Him walking into the ocean to fetch the Titleist from the whale.
The monologue, absolutely. Just one of the best.
Let's take this moment to talk about the players in this scene. First, we have Lindsay, or Marie, or Lindsay Marie, played by the lovely Jessica Hecht, who is famous for her role in Sideways, as well as Breaking Bad. She played Gretchen. Then she was in Friends. She was Ross's ex-wife's partner, Susan. I think I got that right. I had trouble with that the last time we recorded this. And she was in one of my favorite movies, Dan in Real Life.
Oh, very nice.
Steve Carell. And then we have Lois Nettleton, who you spoke of earlier. She played Mrs. Enright. She passed away in 2008, unfortunately, but she was in General Hospital, the best little whorehouse in Texas, and she did voice work towards the latter part of her career. You also said she was in one of your favorite Twilight Zone episodes?
Oh, yeah, The Midnight Sun.
Okay.
Good episode.
That's good stuff.
I was just looking at Jessica Hecht on IMDb. I see that she was also in Whatever Works, the Woody Allen, Larry David rom.
Ah, yes, Boris.
Did you ever see that?
We watched it together.
I don't think we did.
We didn't finish it.
Oh, all right, that's it. I remember the beginning, but I think
Remember,
I fell
because he's
asleep.
he's an older, intellectual, very neurotic. Go figure. And then he befriend or almost fall for a very young girl who moves to the city.
Yeah, but I just don't remember what happens. We need to
Who's
revisit
the
that one.
girl?
It's Evan Rachel Wood.
That's it. Okay. Yeah, we started it and we never finished it, which is odd for us to not finish a Larry David related project.
But just talking about Jessica Hecht, I'm a big fan of hers. I really like all the stuff I've seen her in. As you mentioned, Breaking Bad, especially. She has that brief role in Sideways, but also we should mention that she is currently in Fiddler on the Roof on Broadway.
Oh,
So there you go. Maybe that's something we could go see sometime.
you never take me to Broadway shows.
Oh, that's your job, Vinny. you take me to see Fish in the Dark. So Fiddler on the Roof is next. Anyways.
We should also talk about a deleted scene here. At the end of the scene, we saw George run after Mrs. Enright out of the kitchen. But there was additional footage that followed. George tried to convince her what you saw was not actually what you think you saw. He says, what looked like eating, what appeared to be picking through the trash, was actually careful inspection of E. coli bacteria, which I'm happy to tell you doesn't exist on the eclair I was eating. And then Lindsay arrives, and Mrs. Enright says, Lindsay, dear, can I talk to you in the kitchen?
Oh, boy. That right there, just the dialogue alone, sounds exactly like The Fire when he's talking to the firemen and the paramedics afterwards.
Seemingly.
What
you
looked like
think you saw.
pushing? Yes, exactly. Very
Only
similar.
discernible. Oh, and also the trip. Only discernible to the acute observer. Anytime George says seemingly, there's bullshit about to stream from his mouth.
Oh, man. Well, let's move over to Mr. Pitt's. Elaine is looking at the 3D art now with Mr. Pitt. She can see the spaceship. He can't, of course. And he's actually freaking out at this point. Like, it's really frustrating him. Maybe there's that inner child part of Mr. Pitt that just can't deal with this.
He does have a boyish quality to him that does track throughout his stint in the show. Mm-hmm. Do you remember his first name?
Justin.
Okay, just checking.
What's that all about?
I don't know. I was just thinking about it's always Mr. Pitt, Mr. Pitt, Mr. Pitt. But the first time we're introduced to him, Justin Pitt, meet Elaine Bennett.
There you go. Well, the phone rings. Turns out Mr. Pitt's car has arrived to take him to the bottled water meeting. But, he's just so stuck to the 3D art, almost hypnotized. He tells Elaine, hey, go for me instead. All they're going to do is read a report.
Mr. Pitt, I don't think that is such a good idea.
Let's go over to Jerry's car. He's parked outside with his girlfriend, Katya. And how would you describe the state, just the overall tone?
It's a little awkward, I think. There's a little bit of that first date nerves, jitters they're trying to get out. Mm-hmm. But Jerry seems to be trying to charm her with his jokes. Although she doesn't seem amused. He seems to enjoy what he's putting out there, though. Yeah,
the whole, Ceausescu, what? That whole topic is not going over well because he's trying to, make jokes about, what is it? He's dictating first thing in the morning. I want a cup of coffee and a muffin.
And Katya is just deadpan saying he was not shy about dictating.
Yeah, he was a very bad dictator.
Yes, very bad. Very, very bad.
It's not going so well.
No siree, Bob. Alina Lowenshon plays Katya. Her most memorable role was in Schindler's List. She was also in A Very Long Engagement, Nadia, and Immortality. And she's actually a Romanian-born actress.
Yeah, her scene in Schindler's List is just, that whole movie is gut-wrenching. But, it was interesting when I looked up her scene, I'm like, oh, that was Katya. So, it's not a funny connection, but it's interesting with Schindler's List, having that infamous episode last season. Now you have, an actress from that movie, not a major role, but a very infamous scene.
Mm-hmm. There's a connection.
Yeah, absolutely. This actress though, Alina, does she remind you of anyone out there, either working or from the golden age? I can't put my finger on it.
You're gonna say I'm crazy, but purely because of the haircut, I'm thinking of a Mrs. Mia Wallace, Uma Thurman from Pulp Fiction. But I think it's the haircut alone.
Yeah, well, on that note, she reminds me a little bit of Natalie Portman, but it's not all there. But,
professional.
Yeah.
Leon, the professional Natalie Portman.
The hair, definitely, but just the features of Natalie Portman, even when she's an adult, something's there. But
her whole free swinging attitude.
Oh, man. Well, let's cut over to Monks, and let's just go right into the clip here.
You find yourself in the kitchen. You see an eclair in the receptacle, and you think to yourself, what the hell, I'll just eat some trash.
No. It was not trash.
Was it in the trash?
Yes.
Then it was trash.
It wasn't down in, it was sort of on top.
But it was in the cylinder.
Above the rim.
Adjacent to refuse is refuse.
It was on a magazine, and it still had the doily on.
Was it eaten?
One little bite.
Well, that's garbage.
But I know who took the bite. It was her aunt.
Well, you, my friend, have crossed the line that divides man and bum. You are now a bum. Hey, What's with you?
I got a stone.
What stone?
A kidney stone.
What is that anyway?
It's a stony mineral concretion formed abnormally in the kidney. And this jagged shard of calcium pushes its way through the ureter into the bladder. It's forced out through the urine.
Oh, that's gotta hurt.
No. Poor George.
Was it in the trash?
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, what a great scene. Anytime George is just a complete idiot and Jerry gets to just rip him apart, you know? It's just the best.
I'm starting to notice now it's much more Jerry dishing it to George. Very seldom does George get to one-up Jerry. Mm-hmm. You know? So keep an eye out for those.
Absolutely.
They're rare.
So the second half of the conversation was pretty much Michael really on the page, just throwing out some information, you know, nothing funny about it, but he just kills the delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Through the urine.
Yes, it's just all there, man. I love it. So good. Jerry's last line there, after hearing, you know, what's going to happen with the kidney stone, he says, "That's got to hurt." A little bit connection with George in Puerto Rican Day Parade, you know, watching Blimp. That's gotta hurt.
The Hindenburg. Maybe that's where he got it from.
Maybe. Well, next scene, we're at the Poland Creek merger here. We've got, you know, two clients actually, with a lane right in the middle. One of the clients is going over some of the merger details, including the stock swap.
Oh, the stock swap. Let's swap some stock.
And as the meeting wraps up,
Hey, you guys, what's the name of the new company gonna be?
Moland Spring.
Moland.
Yes, we combined Morgan and Poland.
Yeah, I know, but Moland? I wouldn't drink anything called Moland.
But it was Mr. Pitt's idea.
Oh, well, what's in a name? I mean, water's water, right?
We've got to do something about that name.
Ah, you guys recognize that face and voice? That's David Blackwood in his final appearance in Seinfeld. He is Aronson.
I think he's Beck, actually.
Damn! Every time. He is Beck. Let's run through all his stints on Seinfeld.
Well, real quick, just from that clip, he's the one that says, we've got to do something about that name. He's the younger guy of the two.
The one you've seen in all these other Seinfeld episodes. Sure. He was in The Robbery as man number 1, The Apartment as Stan, The Nose Job as the interviewer, The Cheever Letters as the doorman, The Handicap Spot as the security guard, The Marine Biologist as the hotel clerk. What was his name?
Growl.
And The Gymnast as Beck.
There you go. Vinny, when we started Seincast, and those early episodes are a little rough.
Yep.
The audio isn't the best, but
I still hear grief about him from this day.
we managed to get through it. You mentioned David Blackwood in the robbery episode as the guy behind the couch where he's like, "Oh, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to move. You know, what's the rent?" He's that guy. And when you told me that he's in all of these upcoming episodes, just little bit roles. It just blew my mind because he is like the ultimate. We love double dippers, but he is the ultimate sept dipper.
That's a lot of dips. Mm-hmm. There's E. coli in the dip now because of David Blackwood.
Yeah, and I can't believe we've gotten so far that he has, you know, now his dip has ended.
Oh, sad.
It's over with. It's over for David Blackwood. And sorry, Vinny, one last thing here. I want to reach out to our listeners here. It's a shot in the dark, but if anyone out there has information on who David Blackwood was at the time, is to this day, if anyone,
or where he's going,
if anyone's in touch with him, please let us know, because it just seems like he was this regular TV actor who just did these little bit roles at the time. But how the hell do you land 7 different roles on Seinfeld? Like, who was your contact? What was your relationship with people on the show? It just seems unheard of that someone would be asked back this many times.
To add to that, let's put out a PSA that if anybody has any ties to someone who's been on the show, worked on the show, or has any connection to it, that could shed some, interesting light on Seinfeld, please send them our way or give us a contact. That'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Big or small, man. We love hearing from anyone who was on set, for an episode or for a season, what have you.
The other gentleman in the scene who plays Aronson is James R. Sweeney, and his notable credits are General Hospital and Final Destination Unknown.
Oh, watch out. Well, Vinny, I asked you earlier if there's something wrong with the name, like Moland or Porgan. What do you think of Moland? Would you drink water called Moland?
It does. I gotta agree with Elaine. It doesn't sound very appetizing.
No, not at all.
Moland Creek.
Yeah.
What is there any other way you can word the names?
It's Moland Spring, actually.
Excuse me.
I would drink a Moland Spring. I don't know if I'd drink Moland Creek.
Oh, that's where you're griping on, is the creek or the spring where the water comes from? Not that there's moles in it.
Next scene. Moving on here. Next scene, we're at Jerry's apartment. George is on the phone with Lindsay, trying to convince her that the eclair it was above the garbage.
Hovering, like an angel.
Don't you love how Jerry's face is letting us know how George is doing in the phone call?
Oh, he is a silent supporter. With each statement that George is making, Jerry is backing him up with some sort of verbal affirmation.
He's a facial barometer.
It's pronounced thermometer.
There you go. Well, eventually we find out that Lindsay decided to give George a second chance. And per Jerry's suggestion, George is going to the florist and smooth things out with a nice bouquet. Well, Kramer enters holding a VHS tape.
Behold, the games of the 84 Olympiad. Katya's silver medal performance.
Kramer, you're still on this? I've seen gymnasts. I know what they do. It's not going to make any difference.
Jerry, what is your problem?
Kramer, guys like you with no conscience don't know what it's like for guys like me. I'm in the unfortunate position of having to consider people's feelings.
All right, Jerry, are you familiar with the Kama Sutra?
No.
Tantric yoga?
No.
Jerry, you stand on the threshold to the magical world of sensual delights that most men dare not dream of.
Well, you can really talk some trash. I guess that's better than eating it.
All right. Why don't we just watch the tape, huh?
Did you pass your stone yet?
Not yet. But the suspense is killing me.
Hey, that's her.
Oh, yeah, that's her. Look at the height, Jerry, the extension. Now watch the tuck. Handstand, half turn, giant into a straddle, back into another handstand. Nice kip. Reverse hacked. Oh, nice leg extension. Good form. Now here comes the big dismount. Look at the rotation. Full in, double back, and she sticks to land. Perhaps you'd like to keep the tape. I'll take that as a yes.
I couldn't figure out what episode art to use for this episode. We had attached little art for each discussion, and I think it's this screen grab of all three of them watching the tape. With
mouth agape as she sticks the landing.
Kramer maybe having an orgasm or something moving.
That's funny you mentioned that because as Kramer exits, Jerry makes a comment. Present day Jerry, during the commentary track says, "Hey, there goes Kramer. He's going to lose the contest again." So even the co-creator of the show affirms that Kramer's going to,
It's very similar to them watching the naked woman across the street, and then Kramer leaving. So.
Did you notice Kramer's wealth of knowledge regarding gymnastics? He knows all the terms. It seems like not only does he have an affinity for Miss America contests, but also the Olympics and gymnastics.
There's definitely something there. I think this kind of ties back to a discussion we had once, maybe twice, where Kramer might have been raised on TV. His mom might not have been as present. All these things keep hitting me when I talk about Kramer. I imagine his mom used to have a lot of male suitors,
right.
and Kramer would just be sitting there in front of the TV watching while there's this just horrible stuff going on in the background.
Oh, that's Uncle Pete. Basically, it's the way they did it on It's Always Sunny when Mac was watching TV and his mom would have suitors come over.
I think subconsciously, that's exactly what I was thinking of. Totally. Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. And there's a great like Jerry insult in this scene too, right?
Oh, the burn of the year when Jerry says, "Boy, you can really talk some trash," and then he looks up to George. I guess that's better than eating it.
Yes.
And George has nothing to say.
Right.
One other thing we forgot to mention during that clip, we talked earlier about the hostile compliment. There was another phrase that the writers coined during the commentary, and this time it was called the explanation insult. And they're referring to Jerry remarking to Kramer, "Kramer, you know, guys like you with no conscience don't know what it's like for guys like me. I'm in the unfortunate position of having to consider somebody's feelings." So Jerry now is insulting Kramer by having to explain the scenario to him. And that's another thing that tends to happen throughout the series. So the explanation insult.
Didn't that happen in like season 1 or 2 when Jerry starts off saying, "See, you're not normal."
Exactly. You're a pod. I love you. But, you know.
Absolutely. It's a certain way to talk to Kramer. The explanation insult.
Yes, sir.
Yes, that's great. And later on, we're in Jerry's car, and he's definitely more into Katya, you know, since watching that VHS tapes. You know, he's looking right at her, smiling, and everything she says has some sexual innuendo. You know, I can balance myself in any position. I can contort my body, but it's only useful in gymnastics.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. Oh, boy is right. We get an act break, and later we're in Jerry's apartment, and he's telling Elaine, you know, how, you know, he was so excited, you know, to have sex with Katya based on the Olympics video, and, you know, how she contorted her body, but it turns out the sex was just so ordinary. There's nothing gymnastic about it.
What did you think she was going to do?
Well, you know, I mean, I don't know.
No. What?
Well, obviously, I prefer not to mention any.
What did you think? She was going to take some of that chalk?
You see,
and
now
like...
I really don't want to get into any kind of
come
specifics.
on. One thing. What?
Well, frankly, I thought, you know, I was going to kind of be like the apparatus.
You mean like the uneven parallel bars?
See, again, I really don't feel
the balance beam?
Could we stop?
Not the pummel horse.
All right. Let's just drop. So let me ask you this. How long would you say I have to put in now because of, you know, last night?
I don't know, at least 3 weeks.
Oh, great.
Oh, poor Jerry.
He is a real prick this season.
Yep. Big one. So there's this talk of the amount of time you have to put into a relationship after having sex with somebody. Have we seen this before in Seinfeld?
Well, really, between these two characters, almost in the same setting, in the kitchen,
What?
I think.
Get out of town.
Right. This reminds me of one of my favorite episodes, The Alternate Side with Owen March, when Elaine wants to break up with him, but Jerry kind of gives her some numbers. You know, well, you've been on 7 dates with him. You got to break up with him face to face.
6 dates if you haven't had sex yet.
A lot of numbers and rules to when and how you can break up with someone.
But apparently, at this point in time in the Seinfeld universe, it's you got to put in 3 weeks after the initial sexual encounter. Yes?
Yeah, you know, it's been a while since I dated someone. Does this sound right?
I have no idea. You're asking the wrong person, my friend.
I mean, because there's some people who just like don't mind just having sex, like a one night stand, but this isn't that situation. They've been on dates before, so
Not you, other people. Well, it's funny. This is I guess the U.S. equivalency, 3 weeks. We'll see what the Romanian conversion is for how much time you have to put in at the end of the episode.
Good point. Yes, nice little payoff later. Well, Elaine, meanwhile, thinks she may have single-handedly put the kibosh. Hey, kibosh.
Oh yeah, Joe Davolo.
On the Big Water merger. It started a big name controversy. And this is when we hear Kramer scream from his apartment. Yeah. Kramer, the stone. Love that. And when they head over, we find out that Kramer did not pass the stone. Rather,
Oh, I tried to do a reverse hecht off my couch and I didn't make it.
hey, reverse Jessica Hecht.
Oh my God. That's the name of the actress.
Let's cut over to, let's see, where are we? Oh, the street. Yeah, this is when George leaves the florist with his flowers and a cup of coffee. And after taking a sip, he's disgusted and call this coffee and dumps it accidentally all over a guy's windshield. And the driver yells at George, "Hey, clean that up." And so there's George. He gives the flowers to the man. He's holding an empty cup with one hand. And what does he do? He grabs some newspaper.
He fishes newspaper out of the trash. And then he, look at that shine. Let me clean that right up for you.
And of course, from across the street, Mrs. Enright walks by and sees George just looking like a bum, frantically cleaning this guy's window.
A bum.
Yeah.
Mrs. Enright.
Yeah.
We should point out that the song he's singing as he exits the coffee shop, Toot Toot Tootsie Goodbye, that song is sung by none other than Al Jolson.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
What, Al Jolson? Don Ho, live in Honolulu. That's great.
Phil Ramsey plays the man in car. That is his only acting credit, and I got to tell you, he does a good job.
Yeah, great job. I got to say, as wacky as the scene is, come on, what are the chances all of these pieces would fall into place? It's just lovely. Yes.
Damn it, that's what I was going to say. The circumstances under which George is made to look like a bum and be caught empty-handed, we know with an empty cup, by Mrs. Enright they just come together so perfectly that you can't help but laugh.
Right. And this episode, I think, has a lot of random setup for, these big payoffs later, especially the final moments of the episode. But it's just so... The payoff is just so wonderful. You can kind of excuse all of the weird little setups that it took to get there.
I love the little setup.
Right. I just love that wide shot from Mrs. Enright's point of view of George just frantically.
Yeah. and there's that second look of horror as she's like, ooh, who's this ghastly man? And George does that little pitter patter run of his as he's going after her and almost gets hit by a car.
Yeah, absolutely. Great use of the new backlot for sure. Next scene, we're at Jerry's apartment. Same scene as before. They're on the couch. George is explaining to Lindsay on the phone how he accidentally spilled some coffee, specifically on the gentleman's windshield. I feel like George is trying to class up the terms here.
Not a dude, not a feller, gentleman. Mm-hmm. Hey, Matt, did you see a squeegee? George isn't going to get anywhere or make a dime without a squeegee.
Well, it turns out Lindsay is going to give him one last chance here.
Strike two.
You think he's going down?
He's behind the count.
Well, when Kramer enters, Jerry's mad at him. He confronts him because he's stuck with Katya, even though he's not enjoying the sex. So, turns out they're going to the circus tonight. One of her old Olympic teammates is an acrobat. And Jerry figures, since he has to go with her, Dr. Cyclops is coming with him.
But I'm afraid of clowns. I'd like to point out here that there's a nice blooper that ties into that line. When, in an alternate take, when Kramer says, I'm afraid of clowns, Jason is buttoning up his coat, and he's having trouble getting the zipper to go up. So there's kind of a lull in the scene. And Jason, in a improvised moment, pulls his, the horseshoe hair pattern that he has. He pulls that hair out and sticks his tongue out to resemble a clown and scare Kramer. And Michael, without missing a beat, is terrified, and he kind of backs away. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice little moment among actors there.
Sure.
Check it out.
One of those moments that just gets cut, because it's maybe a little too much improv for the scene. But the whole clowns thing definitely tracks. If we go back to the opera and, the kibosh, right? Or no, that's later. But Joe Davola, nonetheless.
Well, Elaine said kibosh.
Right. Confronting or at least approaching Kramer in that dimly lit alley dressed up as Pagliacci.
Are you still afraid of clowns?
Yeah. Yes, and we cut over to Mr. Pitts. He is not happy with Elaine for screwing up the merger, especially after months of negotiating. He's been stuck looking at the 3D art for days, but he's like, I'm done with it. I'm going to leave and go ride my horse, Jenny.
Oh, he hasn't been on her for 3 days.
Oddly specific. In fact, he's already got his riding outfit on. It's sort of this brown military-esque jacket and pants.
And he's got the Launchpad McQuack. Is that it? Yeah, Launchpad pants on.
Right.
Remember DuckTales?
Oh, sure. I know the look you're talking
about.
The
thighs bow out.
He's just missing the scarf, and the goggles.
Mm-hmm. And the beak.
Yes.
Go.
And as he's walking out, he stops at the 3D poster, gets very excited, and thinks he sees something. More to be continued as we move over to Madison Square Garden and the circus. You got Jerry, Katya, and Kramer backstage, and love how there's all not chaos, but people are getting ready, the clowns and the jugglers and all those people. Kramer kind of freaks out as this group of little people dressed up as clowns pass by.
They're honking horns and roughhousing.
I love that, almost taunting him.
There's got to be a GIF of that online, right? I hope.
Yeah, I think so. He heads to the bathroom. Kramer heads to the bathroom as Katya tells Jerry how her father would scream curses at the elephants. Apparently, he blamed them all for the ills of society.
Well, they certainly take up a lot of space.
Yes.
Seinfeld actually got an elephant in a later episode.
Did they? Oh,
big budget.
The betrayal.
Yeah,
very good.
The therapist, the woman.
The betrayal. Katya's acrobat friend shows up.
Ah, Misha.
Katya.
Misha, this is Jerry.
Ah, yes, the comedian.
See, it goes so much. Ah, Anka. It's like, bless you.
Right.
Misha is played by Maurice Godin. He was in Boat Trip. Full circle.
Oh, my God.
Get right this stuff, folks. He was also in Working.
Wait, hang on. Jeff Schaffer had nothing to do with the Boat Trip, right?
No,
okay.
no. And he was in Life with Roger as well.
Okay.
Now, here's something I like to talk about. Mm-hmm. The way Misha says, ah, yes, the comedian, and he kind of sizes Jerry up. Mm. Does Misha not approve of Jerry as a boyfriend just because, does he perhaps have feelings for Katya, or does he say it like that because of what we're going to learn, how the comedian is kind of revered in Romanian culture?
Either.
Oh, both.
Yes, exactly. Can we please do a Clue cast one of these days?
That I will do.
All right. Well, that's the whole trend nowadays. I mean, there's the fantastic Star Wars Minute podcast out there, break down Star Wars 1 minute at a time. Noticed a lot of other Minute podcasts coming out. Maybe we could do a Clue Minute. Yeah.
Let's do the Clue second. We'll be on like any other podcast out there.
Like it a lot.
It'll just be like, duh. And then next week will be, duh.
Maybe we will do that. Getting back to Misha and Katya, that delivery of, oh, yes, the comedian. I get the feeling initially like Misha doesn't like that Katya has a boyfriend. I've always felt like Misha and Katya had something going on. Mm-hmm. But as we'll find out, the comedian has some significance in Romanian culture. Maybe he is a little intimidated, or at least sizing him up like, this is the guy. You know?
He doesn't look like some virile, Lothario comedian.
Right. But to me, I think like purely on the surface, it's sort of a jealousy thing, or either he likes Katya or he wants to protect her. Who knows?
I dig. It's kind of like when Elaine was dating Dick in The Red Dot, and he goes, "Is this the guy?"
Exactly, the guy. Oh boy. Well, let's cut over to Mr. Pitts. Mr. Pitt is staring at the poster still, almost has it. And Elaine in the background is on the phone with the Bottled Water board of directors. She tries to tell Mr. Pitt rather, that they called an emergency meeting, but you can't reach him. Like, he's gone. He's lost in the 3D art. And Elaine reaches into her purse for a pen to write down the address, but that fountain pen she chucked in there has broken and covering her hands in ink.
Did a bladder in an oil tanker just erupt and break?
Are you implying that Elaine's hands have maybe too much ink on them?
A smidge.
Yeah, it does not look like a fountain pen burst. It looks like she just dipped them in a pool of ink.
But you can attest. You can tell what's going on
for sure
as an audience member.
Great moment. Great like Julia physical comedy. Do you see how she like hangs up the phone?
Yeah, she's got it kind of tucked between her chin and her shoulder, and she has to thrust it with her shoulder. Hip
just
check it.
Tumbles across the table. It's great. And she starts screaming at Mr. Pitt to break out of the trance, like, Mr. Pitt, do you hear me? And she decides ultimately just to pick up the 3D art and just splitting it, like Bane breaking Batman's back, right over her leg
right on.
there.
I'm with you.
All right.
What I take away from that visual is, do you hear me? Do you hear me? She yanks on Ian Abercrombie's lapel so hard, his neck snaps back. I was a little concerned for him.
Oh boy.
We don't want anything to happen to you, Mr. Pitt. We want you to live for a very long time.
Well, she's getting ink all over his jacket, starts screaming in his face, and eventually he snaps out of it. At one point, he touches his upper lip in frustration, like, ooh! And only to have this ink smudge, big, thick ink smudge right on his lip under his nose.
It looks almost like a mustache of some sort.
Yeah, like that. Who's that one guy from like the 30s and 40s? Oh, Charlie Chaplin.
That's it.
Yes, exactly. And before she can get Mr. Pitt to leave, she's like, Mr. Pitt. He hurries out.
Is that ink?
Yes. He heads out, and then we cut over to the circus. Misha is preparing for his act, walking across the tightrope, 10 stories up, and as he's about to make his grand entrance, Jerry wishes him, hey, break a leg.
Ooh, and then it gives him one of those types of eyes.
Crook eye?
Stink eye?
Evil eye. Yes. Does not translate well. And with a swoosh of the cape, Misha heads out to the center ring.
Boy, those capes are really coming back.
What a great callback. I love that.
Now we're off on a continuity topic. Thank you.
Anyways, Kramer is walking back from the concession stand when the kidney stone starts up again, and he starts shaking and shuffling his way to the bathroom in pain.
Well, he's got concessions, right? And he's got a whole box of hot dog and popcorn going on every which way.
Yeah, it's great. He needs that. I mean, Michael, he can sell it, I think, on his own, but
it's nice to see the kernels flying in the air.
Mm-hmm. Well, Misha starts his tightrope walk as Kramer lets out this deafening scream from the bathroom, and it's so bad it echoes through the circus. Katya's covering her ears, tigers start roaring.
It is a horrible, horrible sound.
What are the elephants doing? They're just kind of like performing.
I can't do the noise, but they're
upset.
They're also bellowing.
And this noise is just so bad. Misha loses his balance and falls from the tightrope.
Did you notice that tightrope walker up there? He didn't look quite like Misha.
Yeah, the close-ups, that's definitely Misha, but the wide shot, it looks like someone else.
It's a blue jumpsuit, but they look fairly different. It's a different cut V on the neck. Mm-hmm. But during production, the Ringling Brothers Circus was actually in Minneapolis, and somebody from the staff of Seinfeld flew to Minneapolis to film a real-life circus acrobat crossing the high wire. Mm-hmm. And then they did the actual Misha from the show. They did his on a close-up when his wire was only a couple inches off the ground.
Mm-hmm. And it's interesting. That makes me wonder. They filmed the original tightrope walker, and then they cast Misha based on what that guy looked like.
Yeah,
didn't really think of it that way. Now, one last thing here about this tightrope scene. When Misha falls, which I think is pretty dark, because at this point you're like, did he die?
Well, because the announcer also states that he's doing it without a net.
Mm-hmm. But apparently after he falls, Jerry was going to, witness the whole thing and just say, oh, that's a shame.
See, that I would buy, and I would like to have seen that in there.
And they cut it, apparently, or they didn't use it because it was too dark.
Not with Seinfeld, man. We've had a death. We've had a couple deaths.
But not with a character being like, oh, too bad.
He just broke his leg.
Oh, boy. Well,
it's no worse than him saying, let's go watch them slice his fat bastard up.
Similar, but it's moving a little bit more into that darker realm.
Yeah, but it's different than like the pig man jumping or the mental patient jumping off of the hospital roof, because there's no shame in that. That's, oh my God.
Yeah, right.
This is tragedy. Unfortunate that a pompous acrobat jerk fell and probably broke his leg.
Right. We'll find out. We cut over to Mrs. Enright's apartment. I kind of combined all of these scenes here.
I'm aware.
George and Lindsay are parked outside. She invites him into her mother's party, but he's like, maybe I'll just use the bathroom.
Why, George? Why even say that? Why not just say, yes, I would like to come in? But it always is bathrooms with him. He has to state, I'll use the bathroom.
Well, upstairs, he's waiting to use the bathroom when a guest exits, telling him, oh, there's a 3D art poster in there.
It's mesmerizing.
Guy really,
Damien. Yeah.
He really nails that line.
Yeah.
Takes the glasses off.
He's kind of rubbing his eyes because they're so fatigued from staring at this poster. That's Damien London, who was in Roller Coaster Rabbit, Together, and A Guide for the Married Man.
Oh, Oh, very nice. He looked familiar, but yeah, I looked up his credits too. Nothing leapt to mind.
Stood out to you?
Anyways, George goes into the bathroom later. He exits, also mesmerized by the 3D poster, however, not wearing a shirt. And he doesn't realize this, of course, as he walks into the middle of the party, telling everyone, hey, the poster in there, weird, wild stuff.
He's doing Johnny Carson, Daddy.
And this is just such a underrated, I think, scene for George because the eclair kind of, shines this episode, takes the spotlight. Jason is so good in the scene because it's like George doesn't know why everyone is staring at him, and he like slowly realizes, and then he takes it another step further. He just accepts it.
He has a choice. Yeah. Does he act embarrassed or run into the bathroom, or does he just embrace it? And that scene actually was to continue. George would come out of the bathroom, and after seeing that everyone had realized his shame, he would just walk over to the appetizer table and just help himself to a snack.
I have some dialogue here. Apparently, he then goes over to Nana. Hey, Nana, how are you? And he like sits down like on the arm of the chair.
Oh, yes.
Great stuff. Well, let's cut over to the final proper scene of the episode. We're at the board of directors meeting. Hard to tell from the exterior of the building, but I'm pretty sure it's the Pendant Publishing building.
Okay.
No connection other than I think they just used the same shot. Regardless, though, Mr. Pitt is giving a very passionate speech at the podium, almost shouting. Remember, people, he's got the brown military jacket on, little black mark on his upper lip. He's talking about Poland. He looks like Hitler.
I have been accused of wrongdoing, but these false accusations will not deter us. We will annex Poland by the spring at any cost, and our stock will rise high.
Is that how board members talk to people at their meetings? Do they
take the Hitler thing out of it, like the mustache and the jacket? Why is he shouting?
He's passionate about Poland Springs.
And what are the false accusations? That he had a problem with the name, maybe?
Perhaps.
Mm-hmm. Regardless, though, man, I just love this kind of ending. It's so out there, but it just works in the Seinfeld, bubble. It's perfect. What do you think about this kind of ending, man? Does it work for you? Is it too out there?
Oh, no, it's not out there enough. This is one of my favorite endings and one of the best parts of the Mr. Pitt character. This is what you remember. You remember a couple things. You remember Woody Woodpecker. We'll see in a couple weeks. You remember the Snickers bar, and you definitely remember the Hitler mustache and him orating to this room of board members with passion.
It's such a crazy concept, but you just know that Alec Berg and Jeff Schaffer were like, all right, we want Mr. Pitt to look like Hitler in the end, and
how do we get him there?
Well, it's like you work backwards because there's no way they had the bottled water idea, and then they're like, oh, Poland, by the spring, like it just works so well.
Oh yeah,
almost too perfectly. They kind of worked backwards from this, but I
don't care. It's good.
Fantastic stuff. And we of course didn't mention that he does the Nazi Heil right at the end, but it's
our stock will rise high.
Hi, of course.
Hi, how are you? Hi.
Yeah, Heil. Right. All right, let's cut over to the epilogue here. We're at the circus. Katya tells Jerry that the doctor said Misha will be all right, so that's a shame. She has to go to him. In fact, she doesn't want Jerry to go with her. It's been 3 days since they had sex, and she says that's all the time she needs to put in.
Misha said that it was all the time she needed to put in.
Oh.
That was Misha. Those were Misha's words.
Oh, so Misha... Let's go back to that original kind of like, the comedian. Yeah. You're right. It wasn't just a jealousy judgment thing. He's not impressed with Jerry as the comedian.
Yeah.
Right.
Misha's not mincing words here.
No, not at all.
It's funny. It's 3 weeks among Jerry and Elaine. That's their thinking. It's 3 days among Misha and Katya. Yeah. So apparently Katya and Misha are the Romanian equivalent of Jerry and Elaine.
Yeah, quite possibly.
In my country, they speak of a man so virile, so potent, that to spend a night with such a man is to enter a world of sensual delights most women dare not dream of. This man is known as the comedian. You may tell jokes, Mr. Jerry Seinfeld, but you are no comedian.
Ouch.
I don't feel like Jerry was taken down that hard, but it's nice to see him lose one this season.
Yeah. Yeah, he's knocked down like a half a peg, not even a full peg.
No, not at all.
Nevertheless.
But last little beat here, Kramer exits the bathroom, whistling Dixie.
Hey. Yeah, he's back to his old self. Mm-hmm. Very similar to when he consulted the dreaded apparatus.
Yes.
And he was wet and wild.
Very similar, very similar.
Now he's no blockage, baby.
Well, Vinny, we've come to it at last. Ready to move on to our ratings and reviews?
What the hell?
So, what do you think?
So, the question begs, would you eat this episode out of the garbage, Matt?
I don't know what that means, but I think eating it out of the garbage means that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, you're eating it.
Okay. I think it would be good, though, to leave it alone. Hey, we really didn't discuss the whole eclair thing. Like, is that wrong due to the circumstances? But
I think it's wrong if you get caught. I don't know how many people have eaten things out of the garbage, but had she not walked in, he would have gone on with his life and found another way to screw up that relationship.
The garbage doesn't help, but I think if Mrs. Enright walked in on George eating an eclair off of a dirty plate that already had a bite taken out of it, she would have judged him for that too. Not because
Perhaps.
she's like uptight necessarily, but it's just weird. She just offered him food. Why are you eating someone else's old eclair?
And he's doing it kind of on the sly. He's doing it behind her back,
Yeah, all of it. The garbage can is just the worst possible scenario.
It's like when you go into a dark alley and you see a raccoon picking out of the trash. That's what she sees in George here.
Right. Well, getting back to your question, I would not eat this episode out of the trash.
You wouldn't?
No, I'm honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the Gymnast. I know, Vinny, it hurts for you to hear this, but
One little bite, man.
maybe a little bite. I'll tell you, the George eclair moment, that beat alone is, I love that moment. I think it's one of the best George moments of all time, and that is definitely the shining beat in this episode. But just the whole, again, I don't hate it, just the whole magic eye, Mr. Pitt Hitler thing, and Kramer's kidney stone, even the Katya character, just none of that really does it for me. This isn't an episode I ever am dying to put on. I'm sort of, if I'm watching the DVDs, I'm pushing through it to get to the next episode.
Oh.
And it kind of reminds me a little bit of the Tom Gamble, Max Pross episode, The Glasses. That was their first episode. This is Alec Berg and Jeff Schaffer's first episode. Again, a worthy Seinfeld episode, especially a first episode for those writers, but definitely not their strongest.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Totally fine. It's just not one I'm really gaga about.
All right. Fair point.
What about you?
I would eat this out of the garbage. I enjoy this episode. My favorites are the eclair George storyline as well. I really do like the Mr. Pitt ending up as Hitler. That does it for me. So even though they may have worked backward and it comes together so perfectly, I still like that. So.
Yeah, sorry to jump in again. I love the ending. I love the payoff. That's great. It's a long wind up and a lot of for me unfunny setup to get to that.
Well,
so continue.
Whatever. Can I talk here? No, I had fun with this episode. When this one comes in the rotation, I'm happy to watch it. Not my favorite. It won't crack my top 20, but I do like this episode. So
right on.
Short and sweet.
Right on. Well, won't crack my top 20 either, but just looking at some episodes in the coming weeks, I think we'll be cracking the top 20 a few times this season.
All right, that's going to do it for us here on Seincast this week. Please feel free to send us an email at seincast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, or Instagram.
And once again, huge thanks to our listeners for being so patient with us over the past couple of weeks. Even bigger thanks to listeners who reached out and just passed along, positive thoughts and well wishes for my wife Liz, who's on the mend. She's doing much better after her appendectomy. Thank you to everyone who reached out. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Now, in regards to next week's episode, I don't know if it's going to be a full week. We're going to kind of be off our regular schedule. We might have more than one episode in a week. We might not be releasing these episodes on Thursdays for the next couple of weeks. We'll see what happens. But bear with us. I'm sure we'll get right back on schedule in June at some point. But Vinny, what is the next episode we'll be talking about?
The next one I hope to discuss is the 7th episode of Season 6, The Soup.
Hey, Vinny, by the way, you look fantastic.
I've been working out. I went from a size 40 to a 42.
No kidding.
Yeah, I'm huge.
But for now, I'm Matt.
I'm Vinny.
Signing off. Seincast is not endorsed by Castle Rock Entertainment, Sony Pictures, or NBC. It is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Seinfeld, the Seinfeld logo, and all names, pictures, and audio of Seinfeld characters are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders.
Nana, nice to see you. Nana.